Hello guys, you are watching the 10 Reasons Why show, and my name is Feeny, and we're gonna, 10 reasons?
Yeah.
10 reasons? That's a lot of reasons to do something. I just need one reason, that's it. One reason and I'm off, go.
What's your reason?
What? I just get up, I'm curious. I wanna know about people's life. Get out and get up and, not 10 reasons, just say that.
Welcome to the 10 Reasons Why show, guys. We have a very exciting show today. It's about the world of puppets.
Puppetry.
And I think it's quite interesting. We have a very special guest today with us, Heiko Obermöller.
Welcome
to the show.
Thank you.
We are so excited to have you here with us. Sam and Scott and I are very interested because this is such an interesting world of, the different side of the
He's on my Facebook page right now.
Oh yeah, he's admiring your wonderful photo. Can you introduce us to
the world of puppets? How much time do you have?
No, for example, you do a lot of voiceover acting and all those different things. And yes.
Oh God, I'm invoking God for the second time today. Well, I'm originally an actor, German-born, moved here 5 years ago. And still continue my acting. I've been a voiceover artist basically all my life back in Germany, and I've done a lot of video games, animation. That was kind of my into an interest in different characters and animation and all that, different voices. And then about 3 years ago, a friend of mine that I did improv classes with called me and said, "There is a puppet school in town. We have to learn, how to do." And so we went to puppet school, and puppet school is a great place in the Valley. And they teach puppet classes. So I was fortunate to learn with one of the geniuses and masters of this art that has been around for 35 years, Michael Earl. And basically, every puppeteer in this town, at one time or the other, has worked with Michael. Like, if you ask anyone, they've all at one point taken a class or private session with Michael. He's been on the Muppet movie, and he's been Snuffleupagus in Sesame Street for a long time. Wow. And he is just a fantastic teacher. So that's how I got started. And then after this took about a year, that whole program. And after that, we were just, okay, we need to continue doing this. How do you do that? Okay. And I just entered this world. And I was fortunate enough to, the first thing that I did professionally was a Foo Fighters music video.
Wow.
For Walk, where they built the Foo Fighters as puppets. And I got to puppeteer Nate Mandel, who's the bass guitarist. It was so much
pretty
fun.
Cool, yeah.
That was so much fun. And then from there,
that's a good first gig, by the way.
I know, it was a good first gig. And so, and basically from there, it's almost like it's people on set thinking, this is the best thing I've ever done. We're looking at each other thinking, we do this. This is our job. We just remind ourselves, this is our job. We do this as a job. What's for?
You're like, I'm having so much fun.
Yeah, that's what kept me going. And then one thing leads to the other, and I've done a bunch of music videos and continue doing that. I've been on a bunch of series with puppets,
and I know that you're part of too. Yeah,
I'm part of Shark Bites and Learning Town, and
Shark Bites is is it a TV pilot, right? The DreamWorks, they are working on it, and
we had the premiere at DreamWorks. I don't think they're gonna be the ones, and they're in. I think I can't really tell you guys anything about that right now because it's in the works. Shark Bites is a fantastic show that I'm happy to be part of, and I'm what in the puppet world is called the puppet captain, which I love. It's just a great thing to say.
But that's an actual title, or it's like call you that?
It's like in the puppet world, you always want to have at least someone on set that is able to watch everything that's going on with puppets on a monitor and tell them, oh, you need to look there and there, just for focus reasons and movements and all of that. So someone just oversees the whole puppet world work on a show, and I did that for Shark Bites.
That's great.
and also puppeteered a bunch of characters on that show.
I have a question. Do you come up with your own puppets? Do you make your own puppets, or how does that work?
I have about 15 puppets that I made myself. Every now and then I go back to Europe and teach workshops over there for puppetry for beginners. And I have a bunch of puppets that are made for these workshops, that I made for these workshops.
That's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, no, but there's a lot of fantastic, great puppet builders in town that I would even not dare to compete with because I don't have the patience and the genius that these guys have.
Well, so here's what we're talking about today. So that's a little bit about Heiko. We have a top 10 list that the fans have chosen.
Top 10.
They have the top 10 puppet movies, of all time.
Or movies with puppets in them.
Exactly. Some of these do, right? It's not.
Some of them are not all. Some of them are like mixed.
Exactly. So I think this is a perfect time to put this list out, for example. All right, so let's start. We've got 10 of the top puppet movies of all time. So Sema, do you want to start us with the first one? We'll talk about that.
First one is Gremlins.
Of course.
Interesting choice.
Gremlins.
What did you think of that?
And I loved it.
Interesting choice for a puppet movie. Yeah, of course, it has puppets in it.
Puppets
or a movie with puppets.
I hope he's housebroken.
Oh, isn't he cute? Has it got a name, Dad?
Yeah, Mogwai.
What?
Mogwai. I don't know, some Chinese word. I just call him Gizmo. He seems to like it.
We just recently, in our puppet group, every now and then, every week, we would watch puppet movies or just talk about and just meet because we actually like each other. We do.
Strange.
So it's strange. It's very strange. You gotta like each other. If you're like this and someone's working underneath your armpit, then you just have to like each other.
The closeness, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know. So Gremlins really rocked my world at the time. I love this movie.
And it was just a fantastic movie.
It was a fantastic
story.
Well done.
Yes,
story.
It was.
I totally forgot they were puppets. I didn't really care.
And they were so cute.
Where have these movies gone? There's a bunch of movies along that line, Ghostbusters and everything along that line that I revisit now and I think this is just so much better than most of the stuff I see nowadays. And it might just be because I was at a certain age at that time and it was very impressive.
I think
the creatures.
I think it's right. We did a show, it was all about the 80s. And we talked about, that was one of the topics, was that movies were better in the 80s. It was a better experience.
Better
and it
writing,
might be,
better experience.
But I think you've hit a perfect point on that, is that I was a younger kid. I was a kid at the time, so everything seemed bigger and better at that point. I'm
still a kid, and it's bigger and better back then.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. If kids nowadays would say, no, these are boring. Like, why would you watch something like Gremlins?
Right.
Or, they want to watch...
This is a great Christmas movie.
It's a fantastic Christmas movie. It's a feel-good movie. It's a movie that I can watch over and over again.
And I appreciate it. Yep.
Yes.
It's a good movie.
Because it's well done,
What's the second one, Sema?
Second one is Return of the Jedi.
Oh.
Return of the Jedi.
This is one of those movies, though, that's not really a puppet movie.
But you're talking about Yoda and Jabba.
You're talking like Yoda, Jabba the Hutt, which is like the biggest puppet I think I've ever seen.
We have powerful friends. You're gonna regret this.
That's like an animatronic or something, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
sure.
Wasn't Yoda then?
The Yoda was all
he was
Frank
a puppet
Oz.
back then. Before
he was all Frank Oz. That was and they had all even the little monster that was nibbling on Jabba's tail. Yeah, that guy. Yeah. But that was big. That was a big movie for everybody. And again, I don't know if that's would you consider that a puppet movie?
I don't know. Let's ask the expert.
Yeah, sure. I'm the expert. Okay. Where is he?
Where'd he go?
Where'd he go?
And speaking of experts, where's our little buddy Feeney?
Oh, that little bunny Feeney is in his bag. He lives in a bag every now and then.
He came out to do the opening for us, and then he took off.
Well,
and then
he met you, and
he just sleeps a lot. He just sleeps a lot.
So Return of the Jedi. You saw Return of the Jedi when you were probably back in Istanbul, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember it being a big event?
The bikini scene?
Well, everybody remembers that.
Well,
that's what you remember.
That's not a puppet.
That movie is only really appreciable in the original Turkish.
Did they subtitle it?
Baywatch?
Well, in the yeah, probably they would subtitle it.
Are we talking about Baywatch?
I have no idea.
I'm kidding. Remember
It's a puppet movie.
the Jabba the Hutt, the Princess Leia is sitting with him and she's in that bikini. The guys are so into that scene.
See, at that time, I didn't look at bikinis. I looked at puppets.
see, somebody.
Which has not changed.
Well,
I don't know. And they, it's such a. I mean, Frank Oz is one of the greatest, most well-known and greatest puppet players of all time.
Yeah.
And just because he's such a subtle and he understands characters so well, that I think everyone in the puppet world looks upon him as a great example of doing just less or what is appropriate for the character. Just talking as someone that does has something to do with puppets. That's always what we're looking for, is a realistic creature. So if you look at this Yoda, and if you look at the puppets that he plays, and it looks like a real creature to you, then he has done his job perfectly well.
The number 3 is the Muppet movie, and there's another one, the Muppets Take Manhattan. But the first one,
there's a bunch of ones.
There's so many, but
15,
and there's going to be more.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
They're producing one more.
They're making one now.
Moving right along, dugga-dung. Hey, LA, where have you gone? Send someone to fetch us, we're in Saskatchewan. Moving right along, dugga-dung. You take it, you know best. Hey, I've never seen the sun come up in the west.
what was the last one? What was it called? Just the Muppets? Just to go back, I mean, we've got Jim Henson, of course, was huge, and Frank Oz.
Yeah.
You can see most of this list is comprised of those guys.
Those kind of guys.
It's that.
Well, they're amazing.
type.
Amazing.
And I remember the Muppet movie when it came out. I was a young lad.
I was a young lad,
and it was fantastic. I mean, I fell in love with the TV show. Of course, when the movies came out, and Kermit the Frog is probably, you know,
he's a frog.
It's an emotional thing for some people.
Emotional.
I mean, he's a what? You know?
No, I agree. I'm agreeing with you.
All right, I thought you were making fun of it.
I'm not making. What would make
This is where you usually take a break, and this is usually what the audience says. I'm having enough of this.
No,
switching programs.
Pretty much.
But like you said, you know, Kermit and Miss Piggy take on this whole other persona.
Yeah.
That it really just drives it. I forget that these are Muppets because they put them in real life situations and people interact with them. Like it's.
You have to. I mean, I think when we could talk about Muppets like for days.
Yeah.
But here's my essence of all of that, and it's right in the beginning of the Muppet movie. The lovers, the dreamers, and me.
Yeah.
He's doing stuff for. Jim Henson was always and will always be that because his spirit is so alive, and it's so much about dreaming. I mean, seeing Kermit sitting there and playing on his banjo, that song that actually won an Oscar. It's just so beautiful, and all of what he has created is so much about dreaming and allowing yourself to dream and finding that end of the rainbow and not being and acting all grown up and all of that. And he created such a great spirit that's through his characters that I admire. And I will never forget seeing that movie and that very first scene and the song. With the banjo and just the whole start.
Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell, we know that it's probably magic.
How much for the place?
Oh, I'm actually just renting out a room. I'm not actually...
You living with you? Buddy Holly looking motherfucker?
Alex, I need the rent, my friend.
I'm working on it, Val. I'm interviewing new roommates today. My best friend just moved away with his soon-to-be wife.
This is the day we were supposed to go to Disney! Oh, man!
Now I gotta deal with this dude.
Where should I put my shit?
Spielberg, can we have a meeting?
I got a power play.
Move! Dude, what is this?
It's the Battle of Gettysburg. I figured out what your problem is. You love relationships. You love them so much, you dress like you're already in one.
A little bit of that.
Jesus.
I got this fucking dick shark in here with his
stupid flannel shirt and his little stupid shoes.
You're fixed on the inside, but it's what's on the outside that matters most.
What?
Meet me down in Silver Lake at that one hipster cafe.
That's how we live our lives.
$15 soy latte. Everybody get it.
I gotta say something mean so she's attracted to me.
Dude, that sounds like a terrible idea.
You're fat.
Excuse me?
Wow, that didn't work at all.
And we're back.
Yay.
We're back. And we have a special guest today.
Well, I was here before.
He was here before.
Yeah,
that's right. Well, he disappeared.
Where is the special guest? I need to sleep.
Are you a union
You don't
member?
understand. I'm at that age where I need a lot of sleep.
I thought you were
You
a union
have no
member because
idea.
you did the opening and then you disappeared.
I know, and I just disappeared and sleep.
Was that a union break?
That's a union break in a big blue bag.
It's like a cat stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, nice to meet you, Feeny. Welcome
Well, nice to meet you too, Sam.
10 Reasons Why.
That's a puppet name, Sam.
Sam the Puppet.
Yes.
I've been called that.
He has.
Are you in a Muppet movie?
Do you want to stick around for a couple of these?
Sure.
All right, just for a couple. So let's do
Number
what's the
4.
next 4? Yeah.
Yes.
Number 4.
Number 4.
The Dark Crystal.
The Dark Crystal?
I love that movie.
That sounds interesting.
It is interesting.
And it sounds like I should find it, and then I have a lot of money.
You know what?
Who doesn't want a Dark Crystal?
But you know why it's called the Dark Crystal?
No.
Because there could be some nasty things associated with it.
Well, so you're in it.
Yes. Thank you.
That's why. Okay.
Wise guy.
Now I understand. It's a movie about Sam, and they call it Dark Crystal.
It's
Yes,
a life story. It's a bio.
Dark Moroccan.
Dark Moroccan story. Dark Crystal.
So the Dark Crystal. This was a big movie back in the early '80s, I believe.
I was not born at that time.
Yeah, me neither, actually.
But just because
In the
it's
late
from
80s?
when you were before you were born doesn't mean you shouldn't find out about it and enjoy it.
It's a great movie. It's about a fantasy world where they have this dark crystal that is the power of everything.
Oh,
so
I love that.
Bad.
Sounds like an adventure.
It is.
It is an adventure.
Yeah, it's an adventure movie?
And you could be the hero in,
Oh my
in
God.
an adventure like that.
Yeah, will you help me carry the green? No. It's a dark crystal, right?
crystal.
It's not a green crystal.
It's a dark.
Okay, good.
It's a shard. Actually, there was.
It's a shark?
Is there a shard?
It's a shark? There's a shark in this movie?
Oh, yeah.
Are you gonna be kidding me?
It's crazy.
No?
It's a crazy movie.
It's a crazy movie. Good.
I think, Scott, you like this movie, right? A lot?
I love this movie.
I thought this was
I like this movie. You just for a second. Okay.
Okay.
Can I talk?
Yeah.
Good. So I love that movie. It's like a I think that's something that some people didn't know about Jim Henson, because he was always. That was something so new and something so fantastic,
advanced puppetry
that everyone thought he's doing the Muppets, and which is fantastic too.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing these creatures in The Dark Crystal, and another movie that we're going to be talking about, it's just he was always on the forefront of creating something new and trying out something new with animatronics and all of that. He really pushed this art.
Well, this whole thing, I can't even imagine the sets that they had to build for this thing, because it is such a huge, epic, fantastic setting for all this. It's just, it was the first of its kind that I can think of that was such big scope with these.
It was such a departure from Muppet type work that I don't think a lot of people understood what they were looking at.
Find that tailspin now! Crystal bats fly! Search the land! Search the water! Search the sky!
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Let's go to the next one there, Selma.
Number 5, Team America.
Team America.
Now, are those puppets or marionettes, and do they get along, or is there some sort of racial issues?
Come on, Gary, act! You have the power.
Bak, Dirk Allah. Dirka, Muhammad Jihad. Haka Sherpa, Bakala.
Oh, Dirka.
Do puppets and marionettes get along, or do they have like a little tension there?
That is.
Is there a rivalry?
Is there a rivalry?
Like if they met in an alleyway, there would be some like little
probably
rift.
It's like I don't have an idea what they talk about.
Okay, good.
Feeny, do you carry?
I'm just checking.
Feeny, do you carry scissors with you in case you run into a marionette? I'm just asking these questions because I'm trying to get the. I'm a journalist.
I don't know
here.
what this guy. I like him, but he's.
Well, this was.
You're not the only one.
Team America World Police was a pretty popular.
It was a
movie.
wonderful movie.
Oh shit! We're talking about George Bush now.
No,
it was
not wonderful.
Huge,
not a good job.
It was a huge budget.
Too soon.
Huge budget. This is the Trey Parker and Matt Stone. For those who don't know, they did South Park and they're famous for that.
Yeah.
So
Book of Mormon.
I know South Park. Book of Mormon.
Yeah,
I know.
Which is again, these guys are out.
He's well read. This guy.
Yep.
Feeny. Well read.
He is. So they. I remember watching an interview about this. They said they would never, ever, ever do something like this ever again because it was such a pain in the ass to do this film. Because
everyone said, "God, I hate puppets."
I don't think they knew what they were getting into
after working with them.
Well, it seems kind of like difficult to do it. There are a bunch of them, especially when you're playing them together, at the same time, kind of.
Well, let me tell you, my one experience with marionettes. I took a workshop with Tony Urbano, who worked on this, who's responsible for the marionette work on this movie, and that is such an art to me. Well, we spent the first day just trying to make a clown marionette walk a couple of steps, and then he's turning around, looking at a chair, and he's sitting down. Sounds easy. You just spend an entire day to you remotely, you're never close to making it look like this is a real being.
I don't know if they tried to make it look close in that movie, which is why it was so funny.
Yes. No.
The fight scenes are fantastic.
Yeah, the sex scene wasn't bad either. That was
true.
Again, it's like taking it to that next level, which is just, and it's very Trey Parker and Matt Stone. But anyway, that was a big film. It was rated R, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rated R for what?
For realistic.
For real? That was a real movie.
For realistic.
But that's one I have that in my collection. I do have.
I have it as well.
You have R-rated movies in your collection?
Well, they're all semis.
They're all semis.
They're all semis.
Okay.
Look at those beady little eyes.
Look at her. She's playing it like it's not hers.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, but can we give a little break? Maybe it's a break.
Oh yeah, we can do that.
Let's
Sure.
do that.
It says break?
Yeah. Break
Yeah,
time.
5 people waving at me saying break.
Didn't we just have a break?
Stop the show. We're off the air.
Stop this right
They
now.
want to hug you.
So we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll do the last 5, and then we'll talk more with Heiko and maybe Feeny.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Maybe.
Can I go back to sleep now?
You can go
Take
back.
a nap.
You can go back to sleep. We'll be right back.
Definitely a
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the 10 Reasons Why show.
Holy crap, that was
sounds
awesome.
really professional.
Oh yeah, he is.
I don't even know how to deal
Heiko
with
is
that.
amazing. He's a great.
You just basically have sex with a microphone. That's what it is.
You just did.
Yeah, I just
You
did.
just
That was
did.
fantastic.
Take me anywhere.
All right, so we're back.
That actually never happened. That's when I got into this business, and it never happened.
We're
Yeah, you don't want that to happen.
We're talking about 10 reasons why it's the 10 best puppet movies of all time. We're here
10
with
best.
Heiko, who is a professional voiceover artist. He's also
I'm a professional human being. Let's just be honest.
Professionally human.
I just know my shit.
He knows this.
Yes, he does. He does.
Does Feeney know you speak with that mouth?
He does.
No, he's asleep.
No. All right. So we've gone through the first 5 puppet movies the best puppet movies of all time. Let's go to number. Well, this is according to the fans, not my opinion.
In their opinion.
Let's go to number 6. I like this one. I like this one
too.
I'm glad you like one of them.
I like them all.
Yeah, it's bound to happen at 10. Go ahead.
Number 6 is Labyrinth.
Labyrinth?
Yes.
Labyrinth.
I always kill it. I can't say
Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Labyrinth.
It's been rarely seen. It's from a very small country somewhere. South America.
That's
Labyrinth.
I saw my baby trying hard as babe could try. What could I do?
So anyway, this is the David Bowie star.
Jareth the Goblin.
Of course
King.
he was.
That's right. It's Jareth was the name of that yearly costume party that they have here in LA.
Nice, very nice. But this is a Jim Henson directed film.
Again. Jim Henson,
which doesn't surprise me.
And writers too. He was one of the writers.
He was. Look at of course. But this was I don't know if this was something that was huge back in the day. I'm trying to remember if this was a big.
I can remember that
it didn't gross. No, actually, it didn't gross a lot of money. I think it's more of a cult following now.
It's a cult thing. It was a big cult thing, and
they just showed
a lot of Bowie.
They show it every year.
A lot of Bowie fans really loved it. I loved it because I loved the way he looks.
He really looked young.
Well, he's David Bowie.
Yeah, he looked like himself.
He did.
He looked like David Bowie.
Did you see this movie? Did you see
yes, I've seen Labyrinth. Yeah.
Is this one of your favorites?
Yes, Labyrinth is. You know, I would say I'm more of a classic Muppet movie type of guy, but I love that. I would just. I would revisit the Muppet movies over and over again, and every now and then throw in some Dark Crystal and Labyrinth. That's kind of explains where my preferences are. But again, Labyrinth is such a great example of that imagination of someone like Jim Henson, and the creatures that are in this movie are just fascinating. The technique he introduced with this movie that was cutting edge at the time. And the brilliant people that worked on all of that, I bet the puppeteers that worked on that will never stop talking about working on a movie like this. How could you not be interested in being on a set with something amazing as this? Just basically as someone that's just interested in all of that's how I got into puppetry. Of sure I'll do this.
Yeah.
It's super fun.
It's pretty cool.
That is anyway. That's a
great to do for a living. I'll tell you.
Let's move on to the next one.
Number 7, being John Malkovich.
Now this is not what I would consider a puppet movie.
Not really.
And moving on to number 7.
Although it really is. It is kind of a puppet movie because John Malkovich is
a puppet.
In essence, a puppet.
Let's just say it.
Yeah.
He's a puppet. Well trained.
But are they puppets or are they marionettes? Because I see string.
Well, so you're talking about.
Well, he's a puppet. He's a puppeteer.
He's a puppeteer.
He's a puppeteer.
Not John Malkovich, but
John Cusack.
Yes.
Puppety.
What was the name I was desperately looking for?
Making a puppet sound. Puppety.
That's a good start.
I didn't know.
Sam is going.
I do voices, by the way.
Puppetry is about letting go.
I let go.
You don't have to, because you're not going to be in that picture.
That's true.
Unless you're not doing your job well, so you can do whatever you want to.
That's right. That's right.
So it's a fun.
John Malkovich. So there's a scene where he does this fantastic marionette with this puppet. That's
right in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
We couldn't figure out. We were watching it during the break, but we couldn't figure out if that's some of that CGI or if that's just someone who's just incredibly talented to make him do that stuff. But we were talking about how hard that is to do something like that.
And again, we have an expert on this, but he just left.
Where'd he go? Was he on a union break?
I would love to tell you how they've done it. I have no idea. To me, it looks like there might be some effects involved.
All right, where do we get this guest
but
anyway?
Leaving. I see my plane is going right now. Don't touch me if you don't like me. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You can
Let's not go there.
Let's just not go there. But anyway, it's such an amazing scene. It looks real, the movements and all of that, and there are certainly puppeteers out there that can do that.
Yeah,
so I'm willing to give all the credits to a real puppeteer.
Well, you were saying
absolutely.
You were saying that it took you, like, you know, taking one and making it walk over, turn around, and sit down.
But that's like, just me. That's just being me.
But not John Malkovich.
What you're saying makes sense because it doesn't. It seems maybe easy. People are like, oh, I can do it. I don't think so. It's just such like you have to know how to make it move
it's an art.
Smoothly.
It's an art.
It's an ongoing craft.
It's not easy.
And I tell this to, I mean, there's only so much you can learn with puppets, and then you just have to get into this world, because basically how it works in the puppet world is someone thinks, well, let's have a puppet on this set, and then they hire experts and they expect the puppet to do it right away. You just have to nail it. If you are on a set with puppets and you start like figuring out, like, oh, how does this? And usually what happens if people had never worked on monitors before is the puppet will look like this and look in weird directions and all of that. If that happens, you're just replace immediately.
That's why you get a puppet captain,
That's
right?
why you get a,
That's right. And if things don't work out, he goes down with the ship.
Exactly, and I just throw everyone off the set. Puppet people are mean people.
That's not true. There's no way that's true.
And you were saying it's so fun to be in that.
Let's move on because I think Feeney has a flight.
This is actually my favorite. Maybe
doesn't care.
Number 8, The Never-Ending Story.
Oh yeah. So
it's German-American, right?
Finally, I can speak Deutsch.
Deutschland.
Because it's a Deutsch movie.
I see. I didn't know that.
I don't know.
Many people probably didn't know that.
Wait, did you talk about Return of the Jedi? Is a Deutsch movie?
Yes. It's all basically Deutsch. Oliver, no.
No, The Never-Ending Story.
But Never-Ending Story means die unendliche Geschichte auf Deutsch.
Excuse you.
Wow.
Yes, excuse me.
I love that movie.
Wolfgang Petersen.
My kids grew up on that. They had the dragon. What was it called? The
Fuchur. In my language.
Falcor.
The Velcro?
Falcor!
What did they call it here? Velcro?
Falcor.
Great.
Now you made me screw it up.
I am. Atreyu was the guy, or
he was the kind of Native American kid who was the alter ego.
I dreamt.
What was the kid's name? The Atreyu. Bastion.
I dreamt of being this guy for years. That Atreyu guy.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Always wanted.
That was so. It was in that scene where he flies on that Fuchur. Falcor. Flying Velcro.
Atreyu. He's a dream dragon.
He's a dream, yeah. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful movie. Wrote by, I'm gonna say it in German, Michael Ende.
That's one of my favorite movies of all time. Number 9, Simon. Let's do that one.
Number 9 is Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, that scared me.
Did it really?
Scary movie.
It scared me. It is a scary movie. It's a scary movie.
Is scary.
When did that come out?
Feed me. Does it have to be human? Feed me. Does it have to be mine? Feed me. Where am I supposed to get it? Feed me, Seymour. Feed me all night long.
There's blood in this movie and plants eating.
That's true. But it's a musical. How can a musical be scary?
There's a dentist in the movie. That's scary in itself.
You know what? I'll give you that one. So speaking of this one, this is a Frank Oz, directed by Frank Oz.
Yeah. He directed a bunch of great movies.
He did. So this is another movie. I know it was scary for you. For me, I actually really like this. The puppetry in this was fantastic. That giant plant. Holy crap, man! That was
that's
how
part scary.
I just can't imagine how hard it is to make
I know some
to
people,
make it look like he's speaking the words and the like just the
Feed
lips.
me.
Yeah, just how they did it was fantastic.
like that. Yes.
So what's next on our list of crazy movies?
Number 10.
Oh, that's the last one?
Yes.
After that, we have to leave?
Yeah. Well, number 10 is Thunderbirds.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go.
Sam, I think you love that one, right? Don't you?
I am a big fan of Jerry Anderson. If you don't know who he is, look him up. He passed away recently. Gerry Anderson.
That's also your generation, right? When that came out. Not to be.
All right, our next guest next week.
Our next guest is
gonna be.
Thank you so much for watching the 10 Reasons Why show.
That's right.
I think we should. Who is this guy? Every week.
I don't know about that.
I like this guy.
I may want to vote against.
Yeah, we love Heiko.
No, Jerry Anderson created.
Isn't it true? It was that.
Well, when I was a very little kid, yeah, he was. But
everyone in Hollywood pretends to be 20 nowadays.
I'm not 20.
21? What are you?
Maybe 30.
Maybe 30.
Anyway, getting back to what I was trying to say. They were marionettes with the strings like in Team America.
Right.
But they were really cool science fiction shows. The first one was called Supercar. It was all about this kid and his car. It was like a Cadillac with 8 wheels, and it flew and all this stuff. And then there was Fireball XL5 about a spaceship and its crew, and one of the crew was a monkey, and there were no humans in any of these shows. There was Stingray about a submarine that from an organization, a secret organization that fought evil, and of course Thunderbirds, which is about a rescue team with 5 different spaceships that went around and did all kinds of amazing things, and it was all puppets and marionettes.
Captain America, yeah.
And Thunderbirds is probably the most popular because they just came out with a live. They came out with a live version of Thunderbirds. I don't know why you do that.
They did?
Yeah, it was terrible.
I didn't.
It was not even worth watching. But they still used Gary Anderson's team for the spaceships and everything. It was all models. Back then, it was like really cool models. He also did shows, live action shows like UFO, a British. These are all British shows. A show called UFOs about the secret organization fighting alien invasion. And they also did Space 1999, which was starring Barbara Bain and
Justin Bieber.
Not Justin Bieber.
I'm getting the impression you're a big fan of all that
I can
stuff.
see that, yeah.
Not really. No.
Here's what I like.
Martin Landau was in that.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, it was a big hit before you were born.
But
see, now he admitted he's.
There it is.
It was from the 70s.
So for me, the thing I liked about Thunderbirds was that it was real. It wasn't a comedy or anything like that. It was very serious.
Serious stories.
And it's really well done.
Yeah, the coolest models I've ever seen. It's got like spaceships, like you were talking about.
They spent a lot of time.
Stuff. It's amazing.
They took what the Japanese tried to do with the Godzilla movies and how silly they looked, and they did it right. It was amazing.
Yeah, this is one of my all-time. I actually Netflixed this a gazillion times.
Yes.
Netflixed.
I heard about. Yeah.
That's
Did
a
you
new
Netflix
word.
it?
I had Netflixed it.
Wow.
What's the
I wonder what happened if you tried that word in the 80s.
I had a little.
You did what?
Had to put a little ointment.
Are you an ageist? Are you an ageist?
I'm a what?
Ageist.
I don't do those things.
You make fun of older people.
I'm not gonna take off my shirt.
What am I, like 3 years older than you? Come on.
All right, that's our show, everybody. For Sam Librati, Heiko, and Sema, and Scott, me, that would be me. We'll see you next time, and thanks for stopping by and watching.
Bye.